there should be humanitarian phase to every of that attack. Towards the end of last week, it was said that Israel gave an instruction that the people at the northern side of Gaza should leave to the southern side, and gave a window of 24 hours. Many persons, even Antonio Gutierrez, the Director General of the UN Secretary General, rather, United Nations Secretary General, came out to say that cannot happen. Over a million people having to move across a region of the country to another. What infrastructure?
Where would they stay?
Why would they? How would they even move? Firstly, and then this has been the on and off, back and forth. Many persons are already talking, and then here we're not talking about who is to be blamed, but sometimes some of these things depend on who you are asking. Absolutely. Many nations are, you know, plotting their allegiance towards each of the divided they belong. But for here at West Spring Television, it's about humanity. Firstly, I will look into that if time permits, go through the headlines, and when we come back from that, we can talk about. Firstly, is about the headlines for today. Today promises to be very, very exciting. You don't want to miss it. Go on a short break right now. When we come back, the papers will be next. You stay with us.
All right, let's begin to serve you some of the stories making the rounds from the very juicy details, making the rounds from the various papers that we have here. I'll kick things off from the pages of The Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper, quite a whole lot of headlines there. The Nation newspaper has that big bold caption there, credited to Mr. President, and it says, Tinubu, why Supreme Court can't admit Atiku's CSU evidence. Why Supreme Court can't admit Atiku's CSU evidence. Quite a whole lot to be spoken about concerning that. It's been there and it refuses to go. And just above that major headline there, all right, before that major headline, you have a writer associated to that story. It says, President files reply to ex-VP's bid. BBC insists CSU certificate not forged. There's been back and forth. And we just hope this is laid to rest, and let's move on with stuff here. All right, still moving on. That red strip just above the main plate there, you have that story that says former Niger Delta warlords unite against oil theft. Okay, that's a good one. Thank you for doing that. And please, let's bring peace to the Niger Delta and this stop of oil theft there. All right, that's it. Moving further, coming a bit down to the bottom strip of that same daily there. U.S. to avert escalation of Israel-Hamas war. How? But then, please, let's do the needful. And just beside it, going to Liberia there, where Boakai neck and neck in Liberia poll. Where Boakai neck and neck in Liberia poll. Who will eventually clinch the mandate? 30 drowned, 167 missing in Congo boat accident. 30 drowned, 167 missing in Congo boat accident. I remember a couple of weeks we spoke about this drowning, boat capsizing, and here in Nigeria, but look at it now. In Congo itself, it's happening. 30 drowned, 167 are still missing. I wonder. I don't know.
The figure put to the drowned ones are the bodies that have been found. Meaning the ones missing can be accounted for, either they are alive or not, until the bodies are seen.
167 of them. Wow. It's just a wow. Because honestly, it's just a wow. Because I don't know. I don't know. Okay, on the bottom strip of that same daily, let's look at the story. It says foreign reserves halt 5 months decline. Oh boy. And blue rail line now electric. So I will just urge us, those of us in Lagos, please, that line is electric. Let's be careful. It's very, very essential and very risky to be crossing that line, or lane at any time. It is risky. Okay, economy takes center stage as FEC meets. We'll see what the outcome looks like. It's time to fix Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, says Akpabio. Please do. Please. It's a plea from me personally. Please do. That Lagos-Abeokuta road, it's nothing to write home about, honestly. It's an eyesore, right? And other stories still making the rounds from the pages of the Nation newspaper. Nigerian equities post third highest global returns. Nigerian equities post third highest global returns. Expert to examine economy at editors annual confab. Expert to examine economy at editors annual confab. All right. Then coming down just a bit, IMF backs bid to cut inflation is burdened by countries. And the writer that is associated to that story says, we are mediating between creditors, debtors, nations, says fund president. Please do the info. We'll be glad if you honor Nigeria concerning that. All right. Those are some of the headlines making the rounds from the pages of the Nation newspaper for today.
All right. I head straight to the Guardian. And the Guardian for today, Monday, October 16th, boldly written there, firms scale down production, opt for trade over FX income concerns. Firms scale down production, opt for trade over Forex income concerns. And then you have some statistics here, which I'll bring to you. You have the table and the charts with figures. Disposable incomes, Forex challenges force manufacturers to adjust business models. And there are some products that may no longer be in Nigeria from 2024. They are there and they are stated, most of them alcohol on one side, right? And talking about companies now, and another company with dairy products, and for particular company, Unilever, some of their products possibly that might not be in circulation again. And then you have some of those companies and their stuff, and a particular company that left Nigeria, as far as manufacturing is concerned, and they said they are going into just supply. It's there, that's GSK. And that they will now use third parties, not even that they will be distributing directly. They will use third parties for their products. And maybe that's the reason why some of these products are very expensive. And that's Ventolin, especially for asthma patients, Augmentin. Maybe that's why the price has skyrocketed. Votoren, Amoxil, the chart is there. And why? Because some of these companies are having challenges with Forex, and manufacturers have to adjust their business models. This will form a very interesting read for whoever is interested. And then another company delisting from Nigerian exchange. That's Patterson Zokonis, popularly known as PZ. And of course, taxes paid by manufacturers in 2023 increased by 115% from 192 billion naira in the first quarter to 414.5 billion naira in the second quarter. For the manufacturers, some of them are leaving. Some of them are changing from manufacturing to mere third-party distribution. So you know that in the second quarter or the third quarter now, this revenue will have to go down because they will be doing the same thing again.
Absolutely.
The tax they are remitting to the government will go down.
Definitely.
Man, and this is quite a challenge here. Now, the total number of jobs created as of 2022 stood at 16,300 from 16,110 in 2021 and 8,692 recorded in 2020. We'll wait to see what it will be like in 2023, especially the first quarter. These are statistics, very interesting ones, on the front page of The Guardian. Moving on, importers grown over 200% surge in duty amid naira fluctuation. Talking about the ease of doing business. 200% surge, right? Anxiety as MTEF yet to arrive National Assembly 2 months after deadline. Who is taking note? Telecoms operators may sue banks over 120 billion USSD debt. They should find a way. This issue has come up at a time and it was resolved. We wonder why it has got into 120 billion naira debt between the telecoms and the banks as well. And on the world scene, global scene rather, Netanyahu adamant vows to demolish Hamas amid global condemnation. That's it for Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Prime Minister.
The Hamas must be wiped off. But then in the process of doing that, many collateral damage.
Yeah.
It's going to be recorded. Yeah. Many civilians have been affected. In fact, it was a terrible sight on Friday when it was reported that some of our colleagues at the international scene were affected. Their vehicles were struck by missiles. One journalist died and 2 others were seriously injured. Those are the ones that are reported as one of the hazards of these work. Some of those colleagues, we call them the brave ones, or braver ones now. Because for you to pick up your camera and pick up your midget and your microphone and you head to the battle line just to make sure people like you and I, people like distinguished viewers, have a feel of what is going on. They are the real MVPs, and somebody has just paid the supreme price here, needlessly. We must say, needlessly. And so that's why the condemnation is coming to say, if you want to attack, there are engagement rules of engagement when it comes to war. Okay, and heal the environment, eliminate gas flaring, not just only because of healing, but to make sure our gas is well piped, and so that we have enough of it. We won't have to be paying through our nose.
Looking at
1,000 naira per kilogram.
That's all. Looking at what the price of gas looks like at the moment.
This is something that's being fled somewhere.
Just there.
And the little that we could pipe and distribute is what we are paying through our noses for.
I know how I scream.
Some things are just ironic.
Which shouldn't be so.
It shouldn't.
Seriously.
Oh, God.
Seriously.
All right. Bottom strip. Khan blames poor leadership for Nigeria's exclusion from UN Council. For a nation of these magnitude with human
capacity, intellectuals,
Khan are talking on that. That will be all on the front page of The Guardian for this morning.
And okay, my next set of headlines will come from the pages of the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper, the big bold caption there says quite a whole lot. And it says, FG may spend 3.27 trillion naira on palliatives loans. Okay, a couple of writers associated to that story says 15 million households to get 1.13 trillion naira for 3 months, 125 billion naira for MSMEs, others. PWDs demand more palliatives from Sanwo-Olu. Kwara IDP get relief materials. When is Osun State getting their relief materials? We'll find out. Moving on the bottom strip of that same daily, you have that story there. Nightclub workers face prosecution for assaulting LASIPA officials. Why you don't assault men in uniform? It's contrary. And editors invite Tinubu to discuss economic crisis at UYO conference. And Pastor, 3 others caught with human skull in Ogun. Is the pastor trying to revive what God Almighty asked Elijah to do? Dry bones?
Some of these issues when it happens, and some are touted to be pastors or imams. When you now check through, you know they are none of these things. They are just people camouflage to be that, just to perpetrate some of these evils.
What was the pastor
human
skull?
Head.
For what?
Maybe he's trying to be another Ezekiah, trying to gather
from dry bones. Okay.
But these are not dry bones. These are human heads. Sadly.
Sad one there. Sad one. And let's see. Israel Hamas, Pope, China, UK demand end to civilian casualties. They are the most affected, the worst affected here. On the top strip of the Nation news, the top strip of the Punch newspaper still, Tinubu swears in new ministers as FEC meets today. And Naira under pressure. Nigeria may seek dollar loan. Credited to IMF. Thank you, IMF. Again, dollar loans. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. What else? What is
I'm not sure my knowledge of finance is that deep, but then when you borrow in dollars.
I know why I'm saying thank you, Femi.
No thanks. No thanks, please. When you borrow in dollars,
you know what? You've come again, IMF.
That means you have to pay back in dollars.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Thank you for, probably it's an advice, it's an admonition, okay. It's something.
Yeah, by the way, it can be an advice.
That come on, borrow in dollars.
Is to heed or not and do what is necessary.
Please take note.
We took a newspaper here like 38 years ago, and you remember there was still an advice from the IMF. Some will say, why can't IMF just leave us alone and let us breathe?
Borrowing dollars, now that our Naira is in trouble. Come on, borrowing dollars again, IMF? Okay, we thank you. Quickly, let's see what the last story looks like from the pages of the Punch newspaper. Fuel imports gulp 8. That's 843 billion naira. Stakeholders lament inactive refineries. All right, and inactive refineries. We should please just make it work and make it work at this point in time. Once all this works, I think it will be a better position for us here in Nigeria. All our refineries, please make them work. That'll be all. That's some of the headlines I have from the pages of the Punch newspaper for today.
Now straight to the Vanguard. The Vanguard for today. 21 states owe 790 billion naira inherited pensions.
My goodness.
And gratuities.
My goodness.
Yeah, you had me right.
21
states owe 790 billion naira inherited pensions and gratuities. Now, with riders, Rivers, Benue State top list with 119 billion and 100 billion naira respectively. Southwest, Niger Delta regions have 256 billion naira and 225 billion naira respectively. What we are doing to offset arrears, that's from state, all right, and that moving on from there. That's quite humongous. Inherited pensions and gratuities.
790.
One question I would like to ask is, are pensions and gratuities of former governors and deputy governors among? Are they old?
I'm not sure.
That's one thing that we have to. Are they part of those old?
I wish we could get some.
Or it's just the regular civil servants who have worked meritoriously for
35
donkey years that are being old. Because I've never seen a day, sir, that a former governor or a former deputy governor has complained to say
my pension has not been paid,
except the ones that are having issues with their successors.
790
billion naira. With Rivers and Benue. One will say, okay, maybe Benue, but how about Rivers? Why will a Rivers be owing? With the kind of all this kind of works that has been done infrastructurally, does that mean they are not being prioritized? These are questions that we ask. When Wike was there, by the way, Rivers State didn't just start with Minister Wike or former Governor Wike now. But then when he was there, at least was the one that was in charge for the past 8 years or thereabout. Now, he was known as the action governor, the infrastructure governor, building bridges and all kinds of infrastructures, calling people across the divide of political inclinations to come and commission. One would say, was that the priority? Just taking Rivers, for example, now, was that the priority? How about the welfare of pensioners? Because one will wonder, how will a Rivers State be owing? Because that's one of the states being mentioned here, Rivers and Benue.
Probably, if we dig deep into this and look at what the story looks like, what would say how many years this has been, the span at which...
listeners, possibly you might need a detail or more details on that. And then you have the bold picture, the Oba of Benin at MR Festival, fully dressed in his regalia, the highly revered the Oba of Benin. And for perhaps he's looking at us or watching us right now, I would like to tell Oba Tope,
He's watching us.
I'm sure our HOS will be very happy with what I just said right now. By the way, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
For what happened yesterday. What an amazing time there. And though possibly you have women that are gorgeously dressed as well in that place. But moving on, Sarah to Akpabio and Abbas, don't regulate social media. With Dev writing for that after this headline. There's a whole lot that needs to be unraveled there. Guba post, remove Imo Reg to avoid Adamawa fiasco. PDP tells INEC. Right, foreign investment in manufacturing up 88% to $861 million. Okay, and federal government target 2 million barrels per day oil production to boost revenue. And Forex Minister. All right, that's good to know. And Osimhen here natural out as Super Eagles tackle members. All right, all the best to the boys today. That's it. And on the top strip, petrol marketers short filling stations as scarcity spreads to Lagos and environs. One will want to say not again. And Tinubu to preside over FEC today. All right, let them discuss issues of public importance and way forward. Ohaneze to meet Tinubu over Nnamdi Kanu. And Israel-Hamas war, U.S., woos Saudi, Egypt, others to pressure Hamas to free hostages. So that's one thing. Some Israelis have been confirmed to have been abducted. So Israel are saying release them. And so we won't stop this. But then there are entreaties from here and there. And annual editors confirm experts to probe state of economy. That will be all from the front page of the Vanguard for today.
And quickly to the Nigerian Tribune for today. Quite a whole lot of stories making the round same, but I'll just flip through them quickly. And this one has to do with the elections coming up in these three states: Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo elections. PDP, LP disagree with APC over INEC's assurance. And the writers associated to that story, opposition parties raise doubt over e-transmission of results. We are still traumatized by February poll experiences credited to LP. Trust INEC at your peril. Okori, APGA won candidate. We won't accept results declaration not electronically transmitted. That's credited to the PDP. INEC will do what it promised. That's credited to the APC. All right. Other stories there just below. Kaduna appeal. Uba Sani PDP candidate lists 38 errors by tribunal. And annual editors confirm economic experts to interrogate state of economy. Tinubu expected to declare conference open in Uyo. And Ondo APC, PDP trade words over Akeredolu's absence, planned mayhem. And you have a picture of the executive governor for your state there. Is it receiving a staff, or is it becoming an apostle? All right. We wish him the best there. But just below that, you have CSU. Tinubu gives reasons why Supreme Court can accept articles fresh evidence. And you have the writer there. It says, alteration in my name well documented. Article tells Tinubu and says revelations at U.S. court's disposition tip of the iceberg. Okay, let's move to the top strip of that same daily for this morning. On the top strip of the paper, World Food Day, Nigerians groan over persistent increase in prices of food, obviously. And they're seeking government support for farmers to boost production. Okay, yeah, we need them as farmers, right? Okay, other stories there. FX restrictions, that's Forex restriction removal on 43 items. Policy change will promote orderliness, professional conduct. That's credited to LCCI there. Okay, new policy would, force down prices of, what's that? Cement. Okay, that's credited to the president. Yeah, please, it should. We are actually begging that cement needs to come down. Reps take delivery of new SUVs. I don't know if FEMI has taken delivery of his as well.
You said reps.
Oh, reps, okay. Vehicles are work tools. Rep leadership that's credited to they are work tools. Those jeeps are like 160 million, and by the time they finish 4 years and you're not coming back again, will they drop those cars? Will the next person from that constituency use that car?
Will the person coming even agree to use in their tone now used car? If not that another budget, it will be
160 million naira car.
Chicken feed. Chicken.
You see? Chicken
feed.
That's all from the pages of Nigerian Tribune for this morning.
All right, and we head straight to the Daily Times. The Daily Times for this morning, for today. Japa, how we worked outside Nigeria and returned penniless. Youths. That's where the part of Nigerian in us we say, God I beg you. Japa, how we worked outside Nigeria and returned penniless. Riders, I'll never go back. Any job in Nigeria, better. Okay, we escaped death by whiskers. I returned with illness, not money. You need to know this kind of experiences and where it came from. These are the sad tales of some persons, all right? And with quote there, I did not stay long because what I had was far from truth. I traveled out of ignorance. I was told that life is simple there, but what I saw is the opposite. This is just like a credence to the fact that the green might not always the grass rather might not always be green or greener at the other side as well. That's somebody's experience. Top street. Why federal government must slow down borrowing amidst fresh $1.5 billion loan facility. Dollars ranks fourth on World Bank borrowers list. What are ranking? Ranks fourth on World Bank borrowers list. All right, and alleged billionaire drug baron now in NDLEA net. Another arrested suspect offers $3,000 bribe for freedom. And all right, for those that have rejected that, kudos to them.
Yeah.
Enugu CSOs demand investigation of public officers' NYSC certificates. Right, and reps to ensure FCC, take that again, reps to ensure FCC equitably spreads federal government employment. All right, that's the way to go, because it's a federal government job, and there must be federal character.
Absolutely.
In that distribution. Plugging fiscal holes in a choked economy. Is Adeniyi up for it? And lastly, Bayelsa, Kogi, Imopos will reject any result transmission that is not electronic. That's coming from the PDP, and that's where we apply the brakes on the segment today. The headlines for today. You've been served on what is happening nationally and globally as well. We'll take a short break right now. And when we come back, it will be conversation, the social media, the pros, the cons, the bill that's before the National Assembly. We have been here before in 2015, and now it's 2023 social media bill. Way to go. You'll love it. Please stay with us.
Kiriji War, also known as Ekiti-Parappa War, was waged among Yoruba main ethnic groups which emerged from the ruins of the falling Oyo Empire that were desperate to replace the awesome powers hitherto wielded by the Alaafin of Oyo. The Kiriji War is defined as a conflict of confederacy and unitary political system championed by Yorubas of different socio-economic and political interests. The Ibadan military aristocrats felt they deserved a dominant position for saving Yoruba land from being totally submerged by the Fulanis by their victory in Osogbo War of 1840 and Ijaye War of 1862. Kiriji War, that took its name from the booming mortar sounds of European arms festered for so long because the Industrial Revolution in Europe provoked high standards of slaves. The 16-year Civil War also caused the emergence of new powerful kingdoms like Ibadan and the rise of powerful personalities like Oluyole, Ogunmola, Kurumi, Latosha, Shodeke, Fabumi, and Ogedengbe. One of the fallouts of Kiriji War was the birth of creative political and leadership structure in Yoruba land that was a blend of federalism and the autocratic monarchical system. Western Spring Television identifies Kiriji War as a watershed event. The Korean War of 1950 to 1953 pitched North and South Korea against each other in response to intrigues by nations beyond their border with different interests from those canvassed by the two brother nations. The Korean War had all the nuances of an external conflict induced by powers that were interested in subjugating North and South Korea. Japan had leveraged on its military power to annex Korea in 1900 and imposed a military union that did not sit well with the citizens. Japan not only lost its war of conquest against Korea, all its powers were obliterated by the effect of the World War II. The end of World War II got Korea divided into two nations along 38 parallel lines by the instrumentality of the United States of America and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. The Korean War lapsed into a Cold War when it stopped the prying eyes of external forces into the internal affairs of a nation now divided along its north and southern territories. Western Spring Television identifies the Korean War as a major event in history.
Sports is a culture on its own.
Welcome back. Morning Spring is the program if you're just joining us. And this has been a debate that has been there not just today. And I remember while we were signing up from the papers, FEMI gave us an introduction to that. As this has gone way back as 2015.
Yeah.
But Sarah, people, stakeholders have come out to say, Mr. Akpabio, representative, honorable representative, Mr. Speaker of the House of Reps, please, you guys don't regulate the social media in any way. Because why? What's the essence? And these days, social media plays an important role if properly harnessed, if properly used.
Yeah.
But what does this mean if it has to be regulated or banned? Will this in any form create what the unneeded desires? This is definitely what we want to look at, as Sarah is saying to the Senate President, to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, don't regulate social media.
And you know, just to add to that, it was a bill, the Social Media Bill 2023, sent by the NBC, Nigerian Broadcasting, National Broadcasting Commission, rather, last week. The term, just to give a background, one of Nigeria's major problems is now the social media. And they said, in their own words, describe social media as a monster. These are the bases. And so Sarah is saying, no, it is not. That social media is not Nigeria's problem. And that's why we are here having this conversation today.
And at this point in time, we will be joined by the publisher of OYO INSIGHT via the calls at this moment in time. And we would like to say good morning to Mr. Sikiru Akinola. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you. Oh, great. All right. I hope you can hear us clearly.
I am hearing well.
All right. But by and large, let's just see how clear it can be. But it's clear from our end here. But by and large, this has been something that has been there over the years, as way back as 2015. This social media bill, it's been back and forth, but it is back at this point. The social media bill 2023 is back. Sarah is saying, don't regulate the social media. Publishers like you, what do you make of this? Should the social media be banned, or does it play an important role in the sphere of life at this moment in time? What's your take concerning that, Mr. Akinola?
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Why is that there is room for us to get from the right?
Okay.
I don't think the federal government is trying to ban the social media. What they are trying to do with that bill is to regulate the use of social media.
Yes, please. Regulate, yes.
That is the first thing you have to do. To answer your question, you, as a publisher, I will like to say that we for us as a people to regulate the use of social media. You may think that through social media, some people have made their living from publishing through other means and some other avenues. But the way you've been using social media in the past maybe 5 years, for me, it has not been too good. People spread fake news, they spread like wildfire. Let me tell you my own experience. In 2014, I think 2014, when we were planning for the election in DOCPET, I didn't know this man on my feet. It is a little lawyer. Hello, ma.
Hey.
Hello.
Go ahead, we're with you, Mr. Akinola.
Okay.
Yes.
So in 2014, I didn't know who the lawyer was. So I saw one of our own. So I tried to correct the woman. She was talking something, the center or something. 5 days after, somebody called me. Have you seen this website a lot? I said, which website? He said, nice.com. I went on the website. What I saw, you cannot even imagine. The woman went on to publish that among the 50 men who asked that they wanted to speak with her, I am number 4. Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. We're with you.
Something I didn't do. So I have to go into my Facebook box. See whether maybe I was wrong. So I don't think that or see whether I said that or not. So that thing spread like, but it took the intervention of people who know me that I don't know I did it. So when that is information. So for me, I support the move by the federal government through the national assembly to regulate social media.
All right.
If they can regulate it in advanced countries, there's no problem regulating it in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Akinola, it has been said, yes, the NBC, that's Broadcasting Commission, the body that regulates broadcasting in Nigeria, has come out to term it as a monster. That's what social media is. That it's a monster, but Serap and other persons are saying social media is not Nigeria's problem. That is not the issue. That it shouldn't be regulated. You know, using NBC's words, they said, Serap, that the bill, this particular bill that has gone through the first reading, by the way, at the National Assembly, will criminalize the legitimate and lawful exercise of human rights. But firstly, let me ask you, is social media, really, the use of social media and social media itself in Nigeria, in the world over as it is it monstrous? Is it a monster?
The reason why people call it a monster is because you don't trust our government. You don't trust our government. You got to look at the thing. There are many laws that are pretty clear on these things. For example, if you say if you write something against me that is not true, I can go to court. To challenge you that what you are saying is not true, that it will be started. But because people don't trust government again, they don't know what to fix to achieve by introducing the bill. That is why people are saying that the bill is enforcement. So what I would like to advise the government is even before they go on the bill, there has to be a way they enlighten the people, what they affected people that they don't do. And because people don't trust government. Look, this is Saudi Arabia and Qatar. They regulate the use of social media. You can do whatever you like, but if the thing you are posting, you affect the other person. You need to are going to answer what you have posted or looking.
But by and large, Mr. Akinola, sir, if the social media is regulated, from your own view, don't you think this will criminalize the legitimate and lawful exercise of human rights?
The freedom of expression.
Yes.
The only thing, like I said the time, is that before these things, there are laws. Coming out with this the areas, we have a lot of laws that are not respected. Hello?
Yes, please, we are here.
We have a lot of laws that are not respected. If they don't work with this, they will be protected, you will form the spread of fake news, and we need better living to give its own side of place. Because the advent of social media has regulated journalism. It is a win-win for both sides, the government and the people. Okay? It's a win-win.
So no. All right, Mr. Akinola, if you are tilting towards social media regulation, now let me ask you and tell me, to what extent should the social media be regulated? Because there's the freedom of expression, there's freedom of association in Nigeria. The fundamental human right is there as enshrined in our constitution, which is the grand norm. Now, to what extent should the social media be regulated? And now some have the distrust, just as we are hinted earlier, that maybe it's just a camouflage to gag people from that freedom of expression. So how do we draw the balance? And to what extent should the social media be regulated? Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. You cannot say to what extent it can be regulated. The way it is done before the bill is passed is that after it reaches the National Assembly, there is a solution that there is going to be a meeting, I think, after the second or third meeting. So the immediate stakeholders, the NBC, the LUJ, and other affected we need to come and make their own issues. Whether social media or not social media are this, see harassment of people, you know. So social media being not further that. People are just apprehensive because of the issue they have with their leader. That is it. The idea is to develop for you to trample on so we've seen our people.
Yeah.
But so there's no cause for any alarm.
Alarm, all right. You know, one elephant in the room that most persons who are well-spirited and want meaning will note, especially on the social media, is the issue of fake news, which something fake is just fake. It doesn't have any other name. Something false, and in which the intentions are never noble. The intentions are never pure. Is calculated or calculated attempt rather to have misinformation spread, falsehood, and so hate speech. Some would say it's not only for maybe private citizens. There are sometimes people in government too, you know, are involved in hate speech, fake news rather, a part of fake news, hate speech. How do we curb that? Because when you see the way and manner some persons speak that has tribal coloration, that has some religious coloration, that has social, you know, just try to demean one another, a calculated and intentional attempt at doing this. How do we curb this? And in which way that it will not really gag our expression? I'm talking about finding a balance. But let me start with this. How bad is that influence of hate speech and fake news on social media?
If I get you right, you are asking me how can we find a balance between the social media and spread of hate speech?
No, firstly, I'm talking about the impact of hate speech and fake news. And then if those things are to be controlled, how do we find a balance so that it doesn't end up in people's expression being gagged under the pretense of hate speech and fake news?
My simple answer to that is for us as a country to strengthen our judicial system and ensure independence of the judiciary. Then added to that is that the religious body and manifestations like NUJ, NBC, and the like to make up to their responsibility. We have seen newspapers coming up with something that has destabilized the country. Even the traffic newspaper. I cannot say that as a local media, we have not done something similar. But when we setting our road and there is a enlightenment, everybody will know that when you do something that is contrary to the law, you are going to be moved. It is because we don't have our judiciary is not strengthened and there is interference. This will be the case by the executive arm on the judiciary. Look at how something we are doing. It's because of the laws we have. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
For some of us who live outside Lagos, immediately we get to Lagos, we see a little bit of work, a semblance of a place that is working. Story of youth broken water or paper, relatively water. But when we get back to our places and go, these are local parks that are doing anyhow in the media. Immediately to travel out and get the airport of the country to start to work themselves. So my concern is that we should strengthen our judiciary and ensure independence of the judiciary. That is it.
All right. Nigeria is faced with the issue of fuel subsidy. Nigerians are groaning from this part of things at this point in time. But for you, sir, Mr. Akinola, do you think the social media bill should be the in thing at the National Assembly? Should be Nigeria's problem at the National Assembly at this point in time?
Do I think that what?
Do you think that regulating the social media bill at the National Assembly as being proposed at this time should be the concern of the National Assembly while we have other things to look out for? Nigerians are grounding from the hardship of fuel subsidy,
many challenges.
Forex, many challenges. Should the social media regulation bill be the in thing for them at this point in time?
Let me say this.
Yes, please.
I want to agree with you that there are more pressing things that will be done instead of the social media bill. But the thing is that there is no better time to do anything than when you want people. So maybe on their priority list, that comes first.
Hello? Hello? Oh boy, I think we lost signal with Mr. Akinola there. And if you're just joining us, we have been looking at what it's been trending, the bill that has passed the first reading at the National Assembly, and that's the social media bill that Serap is saying, hey, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Senate President, don't regulate, just leave as it is. But by and large, looking at some of the objective of if this bill is passed, it speaks quite a whole lot, just like my colleague Femi has rightly stated here. He said, one objective of the bill is to prevent the transmission of false statements or declaration of facts in Nigeria. And Femi, you and I know that this is something that is rampant.
Yeah.
We see quite a whole lot of this probably during election time. Before you know, INEC have not pasted, announced results. You begin to see results flying. You begin to see what Mr. President has said this or it's not there. All right, we've just been told that Mr. Akinola is back. Mr. Akinola, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, you were trying to lay something from the question I asked. Should the regulation of the social media bill, should it be the problem of the National Assembly? Should it be the in thing? Should that be something to deliberate about at the National Assembly? You were trying to say something concerning that.
But, you know, I agree, like I said last time, that there are more pressing things that can be done at this moment. They are not done. But if it goes to this, maybe on their priority list, they feel that, you know, they are also, because of the discourse we have in government, they are always subject of these two things. I have seen one of my members, somebody alleged him of collecting 5 to 20 million money, and the guy, I just don't want to use a bad word. Welcome to Coaching of Facebook. We have to call ourselves and go to them direct, because when I was going to see, he was going to arrest him and get him involved. So, maybe because they are always the target of these people, we decided that about their arresting.
All right.
But I agree with you that there are more persons to be done. Other than this, social media. Because you go without this social media bill, we have laws that are covering.
All right. Yeah.
Just like the legislature of drugs.
Law. All right. Mr. Sikiru Akinola, the publisher for OYO INSIGHT, I want to thank you for your take on this conversation this morning.
My pleasure.
You're welcome, and it's geared towards having a better night. Thank you very much. Have a very good day. All right. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We're talking about the social media bill 2023. As you know, put to the House by the NBC, and it has got, that's the National Broadcasting Commission, and it has gone through the first reading. Many persons have been giving their opinion on the matter, what they think. Many persons think it's just a way of gagging, you know, the people. Some think is a gag on the press freedom as well. Then what constitutes fake news? Who would determine what is fake or not? If somebody has a fact that he has put up, possibly against a government, either the state, national, or the local, and that government denies that particular evidence or fact, at that point, is it still fake news? Or does it, how do we just, you know, have a clean bill of health as far as this situation is concerned? Although when you flip it to the other side as well, many will say, yes, it's not, so many persons are, they live by falsehood. They create controversies, they create confusion, which are not helpful. We've seen what social fake news has done before. It was, some will even say, it was part of the Arab Spring years ago, especially in the Maghreb region, how this thing brought several governments down, you know, duly or unduly. And so these are some of the issues that we are looking at today on this matter. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, the conversation will continue.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever is pounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girls got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Thank you most sincerely for being here. It's still Morning Spring, and we took the first leg of discussing the regulation of the social media bill as been proposed at the floor of the National Assembly, and it has taken the first reading. But by and large, there has been reactions concerning that. Should it be? Shouldn't it be? Before now, we spoke with the publisher of OYO INSIGHT, Mr. SIKIRU Akinola, who has actually said yes. He is of the opinion that that should be regulated. But by and large, we have in the studio as well another guest who will share thorough light to this as well with us. Femi.
All right. We have joining us this time in the house, Mr. Seyi Adeniyi, and he's the publisher of DOCPET News. Good to have you here.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, and of course, you use the social media very often. You're a publisher as well. The NBC that sent these social media bill 2023 to the National Assembly called the social media, and in their words, one of Nigeria's major problems. That's in the words of the NBC, and they even referred to the social media as a monster. Your take on that? You agree?
I think first of all, I want to correct that insinuation. Social media is not a monster.
That's what the NBC has called it.
I would disagree with that statement, because presently, yeah, we have a lot of issues regarding the usage of social media, but at the same time, it has also, this platform has helped even people like us to earn a living.
Publishers.
Exactly. So, and yeah, for him, yeah, he has his opinion to refer to social media as a monster. But as far as I'm concerned, social media is not a monster. Yes, we have problems that around the usage, how we use social media.
You agree?
Which I agree. In fact, personally, sometimes I feel, why would people just want to create unnecessary issues where there's no issue? And by virtue of having a phone, an Android phone, with an internet, and with the data, you are free to just publish anything on, and before you know it, and today you agree with me that the usage of fake news or falsehood or false or misinformation, move so fast more than the correct one. So that is the problem. And how do we curtail this? Yes, we need to regulate the social media, but there are some other things that need to be considered.
You agree? And the social media should be regulated.
Exactly. But the other thing that we need to also to put into consideration, if we want to regulate social media.
What are those things?
Good. The first one is, I used to say that if our security agents want to work, they know how to go about making things happen. Number one, each individual that having either Facebook or Twitter, or even we that are publishers, we have a phone, we have a gadget that we use, and each gadget has what we call IP address. So it is very easy if you want to track anybody that is maybe posting or publishing fake news. It's very simple to do. Let me use this as an example.
Yeah.
Some 5 years ago, I lost my phone. Actually, it was stolen at an event. But luckily for me, I have the IME number of that phone. So when I went to meet with the police officer here in Osogbo, and I left complaint, and they requested for the number, and I gave the number. Each location, the person who stole the phone was moving from one place to another. And the man in charge, the man that was tracking the phone, was telling me today the phone was located at around, was seen at around Daily
XY. Yeah.
This tomorrow is presently is at testing ground, to tell you that if you want to track those spin these fake news or trying to cause unnecessary havoc in a society, there are ways to go about it. That is on the issue of trying to track the purpose of fake news. Because as a matter of fact, some of us that are publishers, we are also we are victims of this fake news sometimes, because people don't believe that this publisher, they are the ones that are causing problem for us. When we come to area of practice journalism,
some will say some of you do as well.
That is why
publishing information that's what are unfounded, or possibly that the intent are just mere propaganda.
That is why in Osun today, I want to tell you that we have Association of Online Publishers in Osun.
Register.
Yeah. Which I'm a member. Okay. Now, what we do is that we have our members and we have our platform, so even recognized by the state government. So, but we have other other mediums that are not registered, that are not members. So, if we are able to detect any fake news, or we are able to detect this person is not doing what is right, it is easier for us as an organization to tell the appropriate quarters that it is not a member. Just last week, someone sent a story to me that there's an issue surrounding the I don't know if maybe I should not mention the name of the person. Yeah. But here in Osun, it's a government official. And when I read the story, as a matter of fact, you are alleging somebody of misappropriation, this and that, and you fail to also take reaction from the person you are alleging. So when I saw the story, and I told him, please don't bother yourself. It's not part of us. So I know the person who did the asset anyway. But I thought it's not a member. I say now if we want to react, we know the platform that we can give, that you can also react on. But as a matter of fact, social media must be regulated. That is a fact. It must be regulated. Because today we have countries that are take for example Russia. They regulate the China. Even China don't use Twitter, they don't use WhatsApp, they don't use Google. They have their own social media they use, like WeChat and the rest.
They have their own platforms
they don't use.
But one would say that's different context. China doesn't practice democracy. Russia has its own version of democracy as well.
Germany also, even European Union, they have their own. That is to tell you that yes, there are other things that are working there that are not working here. Yeah, their system is okay, but we still have problem with our system here.
All right. Well, left to me, because the word NBC used, monster. I don't know. Is the social media a monster? To you as a person and a publisher, do you think it is a monster? I'm going to first of all allow you to answer that, because it's a 2-in-1 question that I have for me. Do you think the social media is a monster?
Social media is not a monster.
Now, what can be done in the space at which, yes, we all agree that this can if you want to scatter something in probably in Sokoto now, or in Maiduguri now, and create a context,
or in fake news, or in Ibadan, or
somewhere. If you create something now, before you know it, just give it some few minutes, you see how viral it will go. How can this be enacted? How can this be regulated, where fake news doesn't exist or is brought down to the lowest ebb?
Thanks so much. Before I answer your question, I want to say this. In Nigeria, we have Nigerians have this problem, and the problem is from our leader. So there's this distrust. So, sometimes, people have said don't regulate social media. They have their reason for saying that because they know, they understand that our leaders also can go in that regard. So that is number one. Now, the issue of what can be done. I read, at least, I think either in Germany has a kind of law that also regulates social media, one, and also if there's any fake news on any platform, both the publisher of that fake news and the platform, either Facebook or the service provider, we also pay fine. So that area also we need to look. Okay, take for example, see what happened during the last election in USA when former President Trump was tweeting that no, I didn't lose this, I don't have immediately Twitter banned the account of Trump because he's trying to cause problem for giving out fake information. So, and also that area we can also look at that area also. Okay, in like my own platform now, take for example, my Facebook now, I'm not allowed to post either nude or something that is is not so that good.
Indecent.
Yeah, God bless you. If I do, within 20-30 minutes, they first remove the content. Also, they will also give me some maybe 24 hours, fine, bar, on my hand. So also that area, also they can. I think the government also can work with the service provider, the platform, also to know how to contain all these excesses. Because, like you said, as we are now, if I suppose something fake now, in another 10 minutes, and it's all over the world. Nobody do it. People that start calling, is it true? Is it true? And if we want to do a kind of damage control, the deed must have been done. So that area also, that government also need to work with these platforms also to know how to regulate and how to make sure to contain the excesses that is being perpetrated by these people.
All right, Mr. Adeniyi, one would say part of that bill, at least, we had it in 2015, and now it was.
We had it in 2019.
Yeah, and it was discontinued after people made an outcry, and now it's 2023. The NBC is bringing it. Is the fact that they didn't just describe it as a monster. They didn't just describe it as one of Nigeria's problem, but they said part of that regulation is to cater for the fact that these platforms must have a face behind it. There must be people that should be held responsible.
Exactly.
In fact, in 2019, when it was being, made quite popular or unpopular by the then Minister of Information, Mr. Lai Mohammed, it was that these platforms must have their offices in Nigeria. Because Nigerians make business, just like you have alluded to as well, on social media platforms. Advertisements are made on social media platforms that the platforms are making millions and millions of dollars, and so they must remit taxes to these countries that our platforms are being used. Some agree with that, the fact that yes, they can be reaping, if I may want to use that word, Nigerians, that they must have offices, they must have go-to persons. That's on one side. Then number two, which concerns many Nigerians, the fact that who dictates what is a fake news? At what point does a news become a fake news? And I'll give you an example. If I or yourself, your media platform, worked on a story and you have some fact to yourself and you make it publish, and possibly against a state government or a federal government, and government denies that this thing never happened, and they stand on it to deny that it never happened, on the part of the government, you already know where I'm headed to, it will be regarded as a fake news. Yeah. You could be made to come and account for what you have said. Meanwhile, you had your fact. But the other part are saying it's a fake news. So who determines what is a fake news as well? And do you agree with that? That part of social media regulation that says these platforms must have their offices, that is the right thing.
That is good one, right? It's the right thing to do.
They should pay taxes.
Exactly. Because I have to say it.
They are earning well.
We are earning. That is it. I know how much I earn on my platform. That is the fact. I work for it, so I labor for it, but at the same time I earn money from it. So there's nothing bad if you have a traceable office. One, I will pay taxes. It's good because as a matter of if we want our country to develop, we cannot run away from the fact that we have to pay tax. That is
The other part.
Number one. Number two, but I will use myself as an example. I've been a victim of what you just said now. So I think 3 years ago, something happened here in Oshu between an agency of government with another one. The same agency, two agencies of government. One agency came, the head of that agency came. That want to occupy the building which the other agency is. So the second one said no. Actually, I'm not the owner. You are not the owner. Very simple. Write to the appropriate quarters requesting that want to come and occupy this place. And if it's approved, I will leave. So the man said, no. You are rude. You are stubborn. You know it. Started beating the other man, the general manager. Luckily for me, I have some people around there taking the shot, the video, and everything. They have to, they assaulted the man. And when I got the whole report, I put a call to the other, the one that assaulted the other one. He didn't pick my call. I said to test, he didn't respond. And I went and I published the story. In less than 2 hours, I released the story around 7 a.m., around 9 a.m. I received a call from that same man that I called to take his reaction. Say, where did you get that for? You want to spoil my name? And I will use the state government power to deal with you. I will close out your platform. So he started bragging. And I said, but I called you to take your reaction. You didn't respond. I sent the test. He said, no. I screenshot the time I called and this message I sent to him. Said, no. I will take it. I will take your talk. So I should go and pull it down. Just a few hours after, they called the general manager that was assaulted because the government official called him to a meeting that he must deny that he was not beaten. And he doesn't want to lose his job. He denied.
Is that what happened?
I was a victim.
Yeah.
He denied. No, I was not beaten. Nobody beat me. I don't know where the person gets his story from. So the lawyer of that man that now called me that. Now he now said the two stories that the person that I was supporting has denied that I was not beaten. So where did I get my story from?
So you are left in the court.
So no problem. But I have my evidence with me. No video and picture. They said no. So they will charge him to. He said he's giving 24 hours to retract and tender apology. I said I will not do so. I will contact my lawyer. I said no. Let's go to court. But after some hours, one of the government officials within that knows me very well and knows my platform. Now he told them that I know this guy. He cannot publish this story if it's not true. So it is better we just let it die or we embarrass ourselves. So that was how the whole thing was. I didn't mean I was not. They didn't trust my platform. So I mean a disaster for me. So for who determines
what is a fake news?
That is where the problem lies. If you now look at what the NBC said, because I read the report, just we are taking one item out of what they want to do. Because they said they want to move to digital broadcasting service.
Yes.
That is the fact. They want to move from analog to digital. That is the fact. It's the reality. So also on the issue of determining fake news, NBC said that even in this year, they've tried to caution confessional media houses over 1,000 media issues have cropped up that I want to try to to call them to order. And also I think around maybe 200 plus have been 5 media houses have been fined this year. So for me, I would say NBC identifies and determines what's a fake news or what's not fake news. But for social media, nobody.
All right.
So it's left open.
As a custom on that gradually, now as a citizen, responsible citizens that we are, what should be our reaction? If you can do this for us in 1 minute, what should be our reactions to the way we disseminate news when we see them? That sometimes you open your WhatsApp and you see all kind of broadcast messages. Some will even be threatening you, send this to 2 or 3, 5 persons, and if you don't, something will happen. Some of us will just delete because nothing will happen. And some persons are not that educated to know that these things are not. Sometimes you see broadcast messages of 10 years ago saying somebody has been was lost and the person is being looked for, and then you see that. I was in school when I first saw this story. This same thing cannot be. So how should we use that, especially on WhatsApp? It's not just on Twitter and Facebook. In fact, some have said WhatsApp is the platform that is mostly used for fake news, because the moment some of these things are sent into different WhatsApp groups, people start disseminating. What should be our approach to disseminating news? Either it's a fake news or a genuine news. What approach should we take as a responsible and patriotic Nigerian?
Before I answer your question, I think first thing I want us to know is that, number one of what we were taught when we were in school is that a journalist must be socially responsible. So I think we have a role also to play in that regards that, like I'm an informed mind. It is very difficult for you to tell me that you must send this thing to 10 people or do this within. No. If I see,
that's just an example. I know. Something is happening in Okini, and you're not even sure. What should be our approach to such story? Time is of essence.
This issue of
yes.
Could you believe somebody called me? What if they've killed all of us? The time is deserted now. It was I couldn't believe because I was not there.
Yeah.
So, and as a matter of fact, for me to believe what he's saying, I have to confirm also from other people that I know. So, but in this regard, I think there's thing for enlightenment from the well-educated ones. I have a platform. I have a WhatsApp group. If you are joining that platform, join that group, you have to study the trend because that is the only platform that that houses different political parties.
All right.
Artisans. So you cannot just bring anything out to that platform. If you bring it,
they
will take you. They will instantly take you up.
Right.
No. Give us source. What is the source of this information? I think also we need to the educated one also need to enlighten our people more that this issue, because it cannot be left in the hands of only journalists alone. So all of us, the educated one, also need to join and try to enlighten the people on what to do and how to identify this is or this one is real.
All right. Thank you very much. I will be speaking with Mr. Seyi Adeniyi of DOCPET News. Thank you for your time today as well on this matter. And the conversation will continue. We'll be speaking about social media, Bill 2023, different perspectives to that. We'll go on a short break right now and with another conversation entirely. Please stay with us.
Samuel Ladoke Akintola was a frontal figure in the historical moves that birthed an independent Nigeria from colonial Britain. As a freedom activist, he deployed his wits, energy, intellect, and oratory skills to prepare the grounds for constitutional talks that eventually culminated in the country's independence in 1960. The 13th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land cut his teeth as a politician when he became a foundation member of Action Group, the dominant political party in the Western region, and was elected the party's parliamentary leader of opposition at the Federal House of Representatives. The crisis in the Action Group, which pitched Samuel Ladoke Akintola against his leader, was not only a sore point in his colorful political life, but a reversal of gains which characterized the exemplary leadership of Awolowo Akintola premiership. 23 years after his death, Oyo State University of Technology Ogbomosho was renamed Samuel Ladoke Akintola University of Technology to keep his memory alive. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ladoke Akintola as a major character in history. Born 16th September 1923, named Harry Lee Kwan and known as Lee Kuan Yew, he was often addressed by his initials of LKY. Lee Kuan Yew was a barrister and the first Prime Minister of Singapore between 1959 and 1990. Educated at Raffles Institution from 1936 to 1940, in the Fitzwilliam House between 1947 and 1949, Lee Kuan Yew established a highly effective and anti-corrupt governance system that midwifed the transformation of Singapore into a high net worth income economy within a generation. He never hid his exception to Western mode democratic ideal, which he believed had not assisted developing nations to attain good government. Before his death on 23rd March 2015, the People's Action Party, which he founded, had used his political influence to establish the United World College of Southeast Asia to expand his economic ideas among countries that constitute the Asian Tiger. Western Spring Television identifies Lee Kuan Yew as a major character in history. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist who gave his all for the elimination of what has been described as the world's most vicious rule of the unjust and man's inhumanity against man. He was born July 18, 1918 in Mvezo, South Africa. Educated and trained as a successful legal practitioner, he took up the gauntlet of a human activist against segregation by the minority white suprematists in South Africa. At the climax of his trial for treason, orchestrated by the minority South African government, the great crusader for democratic equality was prepared to pay the supreme sacrifice to establish majority rule in his native land. He told white jurists that if achieving freedom for his people was worth his life, he was prepared to die. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in Robben Island, described as the most notorious prison in the world. It was from this same prison that he came out as a free man to assume office as South Africa's first black president in 1994. Western Spring Television identifies Nelson Mandela as a watershed character in history.
There's a lot for TD at this moment, and I want to say thank you for that. Now, let's get to the basis of this. Every 16th of October of every year, it's always celebrated, commemorated, better still, as World Anesthesia Day. And today is another day. But before I get further, let me just give you a brief history or introduction towards what this looks like. The global burden of cancer is growing. The number of cases is set to increase from 19.3 to 28.4 million by 2040. Now, from the general pain management to critical care, adequate resourcing of anesthesia is paramount in being able to provide treatment of cancer worldwide. The purpose of celebrating World Anesthesia Day is to organize the global anesthesia community. And at this moment in time, we have two gentlemen. It's been a gentleman program this morning. Two gentlemen in the house with us. And it's a pleasure to have Dr. Olami Emmanuel Oladayo. Oladayo is a consultant anesthetist, okay, and also Dr. Oluwatomini Ayodeji is also a senior registrar anesthetist. Okay, yeah. Two great gentlemen, and I don't know, Femi had something. I don't know why you're calling baby anesthesia. It's that person in the form of pain or trying to describe
not to have pain.
Gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
16th of October every year is commemorated as World Anesthesia Day. Anesthesia Day. Let's begin there. Today is another year. What is anesthesia, and what is the purpose of having anesthesia? Let me start with Dr. Falami, please.
Well, thank you very much. Anesthesia is originated from a Greek word, anesthesia. Anesthesia. Han means no. Anesthesia talks about sensation. So in other words, you are working against, you are saying no painful sensation as much as possible. So in an attempt to achieve this, various modality comes on board, but the overall aim is to ensure that you have a life without pain.
To have a life without pain. Is there a life without pain?
Yeah, it's possible. If there's going to be, then it has to be bearable. Usually, a life with pain does not worth living. People in pain request to die. If the pain gets to a level, usually it's death that follows. So as much as possible, people should have pain that are bearable if you must have pain. And that's why even in labor, we encourage that women should have analgesia in labor, because it's one of the worst pain that they have in the course of their lives. So we say they should have, at least they should have analgesia towards the pain, so that life can become bearable. The first aim is to ensure that there is no pain. And if there must be pain, it has to be bearable. That is the overall aim of anesthesia.
That is the overall purpose as well.
That is one of the purpose of anesthesia. There are other things we'll do, but majorly, that's what we ensure.
Wow. Dr. Ayodeji, yes, sir? Are there different types of anesthesia? And please share with us.
Yes, thank you very much. We have like 4 different types of anesthesia. We started with general anesthesia. In general anesthesia, we talk about, it has 4 modalities, which include hypnosis. We call it reversible loss of consciousness. And what that means is we put that patient to sleep with the aim of bringing that patient back to life after we are done with the procedure. We talk about analgesia, in which drugs are given to the patient so that the patient will not have pain. Let's talk about muscle relaxant. The patient coming for surgery, the head and neck, the abdomen, we want that patient to be very calm and tolerable so that as they are doing their procedure, the patient can tolerate the procedure. Drugs are being given that the patient muscle will be relaxed so that the surgeon that is operating can have a good field of operation. Also, we have what we call amnesia. Amnesia means forgetfulness. You don't want that patient, individual to remember the rigors that happened during the course of the surgery. So in general anesthesia, we have hypnosis, analgesia, amnesia, muscle relaxation. That's general anesthesia. We also talk about local anesthesia. Local anesthesia talks about a specific part of the body. Like you want to do a repair of the hand, maybe the patient had the cut in the hand, we just want to work on that place. You give drugs that locally numb that aspect of the body. So that's what we call local anesthesia. We also have regional anesthesia, in which a region of the body, like the hand, maybe just section of the hand, the upper limb, totally blocked, so that that person have anesthesia while the other part of the body is working. And we also have the 4th one, which is sedation, in which the patient is put to sleep for a period of time. Maybe they want to do some form of investigation, just give drugs to make the patient to sleep. So we have general anesthesia, local anesthesia, regional, and we have sedation.
All right, and let me come to Dr. Falami. 16th of every October is a day set aside for these. How important is this day, this commemoration every year? What's the significance of having this day?
Well, I want to thank you. I want to say that one of the best gifts that God had offered humanity is anesthesia. It has been difficult to live in this world without form of anesthesia or the other. The Holy Book confirmed it by saying that the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam, and Eve was made. The deep sleep that came at creation was from anesthesia.
So that was an anesthetic process?
That was God, the first anesthetist. You understand? That was God, the first anesthetist. We are usually an unknown doctor because most times we are in the theater, you don't see us. We're not like gynecologists that they meet with women every time. We're not like that. It's only surgeons most times that knows our importance. Because without anesthesia, there's no surgery. So it all started in 1846, October 16, when ether was used firstly on human to anesthetize successfully. Earlier than that time, it was a difficult thing. You want to do surgery, you have to look for hefty men to hold people down to do surgery on them. You see how excruciating the pain will be. Got to a level that sometimes they said they have to even eat their head with something very hard so that they go unconscious for some time and quickly do what they want to do. You see how we had evoked, how we had moved from that level to where we are now. So if you are looking at where we are now, it's such a beautiful life that you can do almost everything without pain. And if you look at this year, major problems of cancer patients overall, apart from the fact that cancer that is malignant, they will die, the pain before they die is a terrible pain. So does it even worth it? So as much as possible, even if they will pass away, part of what anesthesia do is to ensure that the passing away is smooth. No matter, everybody will pass away one day, no matter how long we stay. But we'll make it smooth as much as possible without pain. Thank you.
Dr. Ayodeji, the theme for this year, what is it and what is the significance of the theme for this year?
Yeah, thank you very much. The theme for this year is anesthesia and cancer care. In 2018, about 8.2 million people have cancer. And it is estimated by in 2013, about 13.2 million people will be having cancer. And like you said, that in 2040, about, I can't remember the number you quote.
It's going to be about 28.4 million.
You can imagine the number of people that will be suffering from cancer. And it is said that if they come early, some of their, if they have been diagnosed early, some of their problems can be done. They can undergo surgical procedure in which anesthesia will be informed for them to be taken care of. And it is said that we need to garner more resources by working with other people to get them, encourage them to come to the hospital, to get investigated, to get diagnosed early so that they can be managed accordingly. And if at all they didn't even present, at any time they present, most likely maybe they still have like limited number of life to spend. We want that life to be spent as peaceful as it can be. They usually come down with chronic pain, like my boss has said, and we want that pain to be bearable. We have a variety of drugs that we can give them to suit their life. End of life care can be given to them. Even though they are passing away, let that passing away be in time they can still spend with their relative, having fun, relating with their relative that period of time.
Dr. Femi Bolton, you'll be talking about end of life, passing away. Does that mean when somebody has cancer, it's all about death?
It's not. That's why I said.
Let's talk about passing out smoothly. You've talked about passing away, end of life.
Yeah.
It's looking like it's a hopeless situation.
That's why I said if they are presented earlier and they are diagnosed earlier, the modality of treatment that they can undergo, some of them can have surgery done. And depending on the cancer that they are diagnosed with, some are amenable to surgery. And apart from surgery, we have radiotherapy, we have also chemotherapy that can be given to them. So depending on the kind of surgery, once they are diagnosed early and they have all those modalities of treatment given to them, some do survive. But in this part of the world, people hardly come to the hospital. So maybe they will have gone to the mountain, they have visited so many places to seek for help.
Religious beliefs.
Yes. It has this funny impact on them, because by the time they come to the hospital, the case has been, the cancer in stages. Once picked early, we have a good result. But by the time they come, that stage 4, they are spread over the body. That's stage 4, nothing that we can do.
Dr. Falami, we have spoken according, by the way, to the theme for the year, the care, pain and cancer, and how to, help people deal with it. But so Dr. Falami, you've talked about the fact that people in your line of duty are really seen. And most of the times you are in the theater. Now, anesthesia, is it just about surgery? Because if somebody is having excruciating headache, stomach ache, it still pains. So is it just about surgery, or you deal with other kind of pains that are not surgical?
Well, thank you very much. At the peak of pain, they call on anesthetist. At the peak of any source of pain, they call on anesthetist. Pain is just one of what we'll do. Just one of them. Like you want to see them in the pre-operative, somebody coming for surgery, somebody in their surgery must see an anesthetist before surgery. We certify patient fit for surgery. Not because of anything, we want to look at the safety. Is this patient fit for surgery? We are the one that sees last, even when the surgeon has made up his mind to operate. The next thing to do is to call an anesthetist to review and see the safety, looking at the disease entity in that patient. Is it hypertensive? Is it diabetic? Not that you're just going to do surgery. And nobody is reviewing your safety. You see the surgical burden, and the number of people that died from surgery is enormous if you browse. Now, if you see the effect, what makes it surgery safe eventually is the presence of a vigilant anesthetist. The presence, because you review, you certify a vigilant anesthetist, yes, because you are always there. You want safety, so that guarantees the safety. In fact, sometimes you tell people to ask people who will be your anesthetist once they are planning for surgery. Anesthesia, what form of anesthesia are you planning for me? People are actually not afraid of surgery. What they are afraid of is the anesthesia part of surgery. If I sleep, will I wake up again? And those are the tension, not necessarily the surgery. And if you look at surgery, surgery is not different from trauma in town. The difference is an organized trauma. Just like I have injury on this part of my abdomen. I didn't have it by accident. An incision was made on me. That's what makes surgery different from the other trauma. So it's also a trauma. And as such, you must ensure that they go through it safely. You must ensure that they have analgesia. The pain is not too much. It's bearable for them throughout the course of the procedure. The other thing we'll do in the ICU, we do all forms of organ support in intensive care unit. It's the anesthetics that you made there. That is the end of life, when things are difficult. When they cannot manage in the open ward, they send to anesthetics in the intensive care unit.
All right. As a custom gradually, let me ask, you've spoken about the importance and how we have evolved from taking care of pain. To you talked about the situation where people had to be hit for them to pass out and things have to be done, but then we have moved away now. What would be your message on today's occasion of these ward anesthesia day to millions of our viewers watching you right now? You can do that in 30 seconds because we have to go.
Thank you very much. I want to say that up till now, the anesthesia unit is still underutilized. Why did I say it's underutilized? It's probably because people don't know. People don't know what they should benefit. Up till now, people still say they must cry in labor. Up till now, when there is a epidural in labor, you can just deliver your baby while laughing. Just deliver your baby without having an excruciating pain. All of those things can be done. Some don't even present in the hospital. They believe that they should manage the stage they are up to now. Like people with breast cancer, if you present with a lump and it is removed under local anesthesia, there is no pain that period. Once that lump is removed, you will not have cancer throughout your life. But if you don't present early and you are presenting late, as doctors, we are ready to receive people at any stage. Can't say no to anybody. Towards the last, even if people have to spend 5 days, we want it to be a quality life as much as possible. A life with pain, it doesn't appear. Usually people beg for death at the peak of pain.
Well, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. I have a long way to go. I would like to thank you, both of you, because of the amount of time. Dr. Folami Emmanuel Oladayo, consultant, anesthetist. Thank you most sincerely. Dr. Oluwatominiyi Ayodeji, a senior registrar anesthetist. I need to just call it so that I can really get it accurately.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's do the needful. Let's take care of ourselves. And yeah, it's necessary. Even, let me just leave that. Thank you for being there with us. A big thank you to the entire transmission team, producer, directors, for keeping it tight. The camera team, thank you for keeping it real with us. We'll be back again tomorrow morning on another edition of the program Morning Spring from Western Spring Television, the station that says it as it is. Follow us on all our social media handles, on Facebook, on X, on Instagram. We are live on YouTube at this moment in time. Like, share, comment, and subscribe at Western Spring Television. Tunde IDOWU is my name. At Irresistible TD on X. We'll see you tomorrow.
Of course, you can have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel as well that he has mentioned. Femi Ojo is my name. Let's all have a painless life and experience, as our doctors have said. Do enjoy the rest of your day and have a fabulous week. Once again, Femi Ojo is my name. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.